Hey friends, welcome to the channel. If you'd like to see how I create this quick and affordable meal of fish and grits using a couple key ingredients, something I'm sure your family will enjoy and love at a price that you can afford, then stay tuned and make sure you stay till the end of the video. I'll be sure to show you the price comparisons, give you a few quick tips and tricks on how you can save money and make this meal even more affordable, or even stretch it if you need to. That's what we're about on this channel, so let's get into the video. So what you want to do is you want to bring about 3 cups of water to a boil. You want to add about 1 tablespoon of salt. I'm just showing you the brand of grits I use. You can use whatever you'd like. I put about a cup of grits to that 3 cups of water. If you want your grits to be a little bit thicker, you can do less water to grits ratio, but I find that this gives me a really good consistency and I can control the sticking of the pan to the grits. You're going to put the grits on the burner on the lowest heat you can just before low and just let that sit there and steam. Here is my fish. I have taken it out. It was barely thawed, so it was sitting in a little bit of water just to help it thaw a little bit more. And then I like to add lemon juice just to freshen up my fish. I'm not cleaning the fish. I am rinsing the fish. Same difference. But anywho, this is just me patting off that excess liquid because I want all the seasoning to get into that fish. Now, don't judge my container, okay? This is what I have. This is cheap, quick, and easy meals here. And this is what I do when I want to prepare a quick meal for my family after work. So here's my pan. It's already hot and steamy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cap to measure the amount of oil that I'm going to put in the pan. I'm going to use oil and butter. That combination works well for me because I want a little bit of flavor from the butter, but I do want the oil because I find that with this particular pan, it just doesn't stick as much. I do have non-sticks, but this is the pan I like for this particular situation. So there's my butter. That's about 1 tablespoon to about 2 tablespoons of butter. If you like more butter, you can add more butter. To the pan, I'm adding Italian seasoning. I like to add that for extra flavor. And I'm adding Tony Chachere's. I like to put them in the pan so that they can get fragrant. When they sit and they kind of, toast with the oil, it just adds a really nice flavor. It's almost like blackening it. So yeah, I'm just going to let that go ahead and cook down. I'm going to add some garlic powder and some onion powder. And you do not want this to burn because if it burns, then you're out of gas. So you want to keep an eye on it. So I have everything really, really close. And I'm just going to let that butter, melt down. And I'm just going to mix it around so that everything is nice and fragrant. I want everything to get coated. I want that oil and that butter to be nice and seasoned, almost like a herb butter, right? So to that, I am going to add my fish pieces, and I'm going to do about 4 pieces. I'd say if you bought a 1 pound bag of tilapia, it comes with about 4 pieces. There's no specific way that I'm putting this in the pan. These are quick meals. It's not going to be beautiful. That's not what my YouTube channel here is about. It's about providing quick meals for your family to get them, nice and fed on a budget, right? So here's 4 pieces of fish, and I am cooking for a family of 4. And here I'm adding more garlic because I like the flavor of garlic in my seafood. So if you're new to my channel or any channel that I have, this is actually my second channel. I am known for this complete seasoning. I have to have it. I have to have it. If you're not into MSG, then you don't have to have it. You can have just soy sauce, but I'm going to add soy sauce as well, not only for flavor, but for color. For some reason, my family do not like light-skinned food. And I know that this is a little unconventional to add the Worcestershire sauce, if that's how you say it. But I like to add it because I feel like it deepens the flavor. And you want the food to be delicious. Just because you're on a budget does not mean that your food has to taste bland and have no color to it. The color and the flavor is what's going to really bring it out. And as I said, I love garlic. So I have some garlic paste here. And mind you, when I talk about the price of my ingredients, I'm really talking about the main ingredients because you really should have seasonings in your shelf. Now I'm coming back in with the Tony Chachere's just to add a little more flavor. Remember, we didn't add a lot of salt to the grits because the flavor is going to come from the fish. So as you can see, the fish is creating its own liquid, but I think I'm going to add a little bit more just so that it can cook down. So I'm actually showing you this in real time as far as the fish just at the beginning, because this meal shouldn't take you more than 20 minutes to complete depending on what type of grits you're using. So as you can see, I pulled out my ketchup. I know that sounds funny, but because I put so many savory flavors, I feel like the ketchup just balances everything out. And then to that, I'm going to add a cup of water. Well, I thought I was adding a cup, but you may go back. And I think, as a matter of fact, I do go back in. This is me doing a voiceover, so I do believe that I add more water a little bit later on. But I just want to make sure that everything is getting coated. So that's all you have to do. Just, shush it around. Like I said, this is not going to be beautiful, but this is going to be quick and easy. As a matter of fact, I'm going to keep everything inside this pan. I'm not really browning anything. I'm just going to let the flavors meld together. So from there, all you want to do is go to your freezer, see what you have in the way of veggies. For me, I always keep a pack of seasoned vegetables. I don't like to cut onions and stuff. If I don't have to, I like to keep it in the freezer. So you can cut fresh vegetables. If you have other type of vegetables, you can put it in there. So I'm going to let that cook down, and you're seeing me about 10 minutes after it's been cooking, and just to show you what it looks like, right? So this is what it's looking like once, the fish is kind of cooking down. And I'm going to, child, look at me. I'm going to attempt to flip over the fish because you don't want it to burn, but you do want it to get some color. And because my fish, like I said, was partially frozen, I want to make sure that it's fully cooked, right? And let me tell you, there's not too much editing that's going to happen in my video. So if my fish don't flip and it breaks apart, then that's what it is. This is not about perfection. This is about providing meals for your family. Cheap, quick, and easy, right? So I'm going to add a little bit more water just so that everything is nice and seasoned and to get all them good bits off the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to show you a trick here. So my grits, they sit in the back and they cook, and I, try to watch them, but I'm not the best at watching them. So almost always, my grits get stuck to the bottom, but I know that I don't want it to burn. I have this spatula. This is my best friend. I like to take the spatula and kind of scrape the bottom, but the trick to that is that I pull the grits off the stove, off the burner for about maybe 2 minutes, let it cool down a little bit, and it just loosens up everything at the bottom of the pot, right? So if your grits ever get stuck, pull it off the burner, give it about 3 to 5 minutes, scrape the bottom of the pan. Anything that comes up off the bottom of the pan, take your fork and you want to smash it towards the side of the pan, and it will get rid of all your lumps. I promise you. And if you want, or you feel the need to add a little more liquid, then you do that. But I'm showing you how to get rid of lumps and how to make sure that your grits do not stick to the bottom. And I'm just showing you that, look, there's no lumps inside my grits and nothing is stuck to the bottom. And then from there, I'm going to put it back on its burner. But if you like, you can add more water to thin it out, whatever you feel like you need to do. And this is after about maybe 10-15 minutes of the grits sitting on a low heat, like I said. Don't mind my stove. I cook a lot, so water and everything gets on my stove. So this is me coming back about 5 minutes later. Like I said, this total for this meal is less than 30 minutes. And I'm just showing you kind of what the fish is looking like, and it looks like it's ready to go, guys. Okay, so I'm just going to get ready to plate everything up. I promise you, it didn't take me more than 20 minutes to cook this meal. Because I put the grits on first, it allowed for the fish to cook, and I don't know where the clip went of me adding butter to my grits. I just let the grits sit in the back and do its thing, and after I scraped the bottom, I put a little butter in there. I have no clue where that clip went. So here, like I said, I put about 2 scoops of grits in the bowl. Now, if you want to put more, because grits do stretch, and if you have more grits, you could make more grits, right? So you would just double what I told you at first, that 3-to-1 ratio as far as the water to the grits. Okay, here I'm just showing you what the fish looks like. Nice and colorful, nice and flavorful. All of those flavors have soaked into the fish. And All I'm going to do here is just plate the grits with the fish on top, and I'm going to get a little bit of the veggies and the gravy and just put it on top of here. Like I said, if you want to bulk up this meal, you can definitely make more grits. Your cost is really going to come from the protein that you're using. So you can use the fish as just, a meat source, of course, and then more grits in order to, fill the bellies, right? So this is pretty much what the meal looks like. I like a little spice, so I'm going to add a little cayenne here. You can add hot sauce, whatever it is that your family likes. Trust me, when my kids get this, all they do is they smash up the fish into the grits and turn it into one big delicious meal, right? So I hope you enjoyed watching this and watching me prepare this. Listen, I'm working on my video skills all over again. I used to make videos back in the day, and I'm trying to come back here. But yeah, the whole point is just to show you that simple ingredients make a good meal. And really the key to the meal is anything you have in your refrigerator, especially if you have a good amount of seasoning, okay? So here I'm just showing you what the price looks like based on Walmart, right? You can go to Aldi's and spend way less. The 1 pound of fish is about just under $7, and the grits, that container, that canister, is about, I think it's about $3. And now they do sell cheaper brands of grits. They do sell cheaper brands of grits. However, usually it's in the instant pack. And I try to avoid that because I feel like you just don't get as much grits. This grits will last you for a couple breakfasts, a couple dinners and such. And I'm showing you also what it costs if you were to get the 2 pound bag of fish. So here's the comparison of the grits. But yeah, so if you got like 2 pounds of fish and, the whole canister of grits, you can actually do a couple of meals. Or if you have a larger family, you can stretch that out to be, oh my gosh, you could even cut the fish down the middle and split if you have smaller kids. I have teenagers and a husband. I just put more grits in the bowl. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next video. Bye.